Welcome to the course of cryptography and network security. So in today's class we are going to go through the subgroups. Okay, so already in previous class we have seen your group. Okay, so where in that we have studied the definition of a group and what are the properties that are to be satisfied by the group. Okay, so where a group we can say that a set of integers. Okay, we can say that a set of integers with a binary operation is said to be a group. Okay, a set of integers with binary operation is said to be a group if it satisfies five properties of like five properties of closure property. Okay, so first property that the set of integers with the binary operation is to satisfy is the closure property, associative property, commutative property, existence of identity and existence of inverse. Okay, a set of integers with any binary operation. Here the binary operation can be plus, minus, multiplication. Okay, the set of integers with any binary operation, if it satisfies all these properties of closure, associativity, commutativity and existence of identity and existence of inverse, then that set of integers with that binary operation is said to be a commutative group. Okay, if it satisfies the property of commutativity, then it is said to be a commutative group or abelian group. Okay, so if it is satisfying the properties of like closure, associativity, existence of identity, existence of inverse, then it is said to be a group. Okay, so if the set of integers with a binary operation is satisfying the extra property of commutativity, then it is said to be the commutative group. Okay, so a group is nothing but a set of integers with binary operation that has to satisfy the properties of closure, associativity, existence of identity, existence of inverse. Okay, so if the set of integers with that binary operation satisfies all these properties, then it is said to be a group. Okay, if it satisfies extra property of commutativity, then it is said to be a commutative group or it can be said as an abelian group. Okay, so here the next topic today is your subgroup. Okay, so here in today's class we are going to study about subgroup. Okay, so where a subgroup, we can define a subgroup as a set, as a subset H. Okay, it is a subset H of a group G is a non-empty subset of G that form a group under binary operation G. Okay, so here what H, okay, if you are having a set of integers, okay, H, okay, H is a, okay, H is a subgroup of G. Okay, H is a subgroup of G. When we will be saying H is a subgroup of G, H is said to be a subgroup of G if it satisfies all these three properties. Okay, so this H, okay, this H is said to be a subgroup of this G if this H satisfies these three properties. What are those three properties? The first property is that H is a subset of G. Okay, that means that this H should be a subset of this G. Okay, if this H is a subset of G, and the second property that it has to satisfy is that H should be a group. Okay, and the third one is that H and G should be having the same binary operation. Okay, if H and G uses the same binary operation and if H is a group and H is a subset of G, then this H is said to be a subgroup of G. Okay, so H is a subgroup of G. When we will be saying H is a subgroup of G, when H satisfies these three properties, then H is said to be a subgroup of G. Okay, so here what is the first property? The first property is that H is a subset of G. Okay, so that is what here it is written in the definition also. H is a subset of a group G. Okay, H is a subset of group G and it is a non-empty subset. Okay, so H should be a subset of G and it should be a non-empty subset. That is the first condition that has to be satisfied by the H. Okay, so what is the second condition? This H should be a group. Okay, the second condition is that H. Okay, so H should be a group. Okay, it should form a group. Okay, so this is second property. So the first property is that H should be a subset of a group, and what the second property is that the H should form a group. Okay, and what is the third property that H should satisfy? The H should satisfy, it is under the binary operation of G. This is the third condition. Okay, H should be under the binary operation of G. That means that H and G must use the same binary operation. Okay, so then it is said to be then H is said to be a subgroup of G. Okay, so that is the definition of a subgroup. Okay, where a subgroup where H is said to be a subgroup of G. Okay, if H satisfies these three properties. The first property is that H is a subset of G. The second property is that H should be a group, and the third property is that H and G uses the same binary operation. If H satisfies all these properties, then H is said to be a subgroup of G. Okay, so let's take one example. So this is one example. So here this is the example, is the group H. Okay, so first we are taking H. Okay, so H is the group H is a subgroup of G. Okay, so this is the group G. Okay, so here we have to check. Okay, so here he is asking whether this H is a subgroup of G. Okay, so for this H to be a subgroup of G, okay, for this H to be a subgroup of G, it has to satisfy all these three properties. Okay, so what is this those three properties? The first property is that H should be a subset of that G. Okay, so H should be a subset of G and it should be a non-empty subset. Okay, so if you take Z10 plus, okay, already you know this is the residue set. Okay, so residue set with addition. Okay, so this Z10. So this set Z10, what are the elements that are in this Z10? The elements in this Z10 will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that means that already we know that the Zn. Okay, for if we consider a residue set Zn, so that Zn should consist will be consisting of elements like 0, 1, 2 up to n minus 1. Okay, so that is the Zn, where this Zn. Okay, so this Zn, this is the set to be the set of residue. Okay, so this set of residue n, this set of residue n consists of elements from 0, 1, 2 up to n minus 1. Okay, so applying the same, so for our Z10 residue, so the elements will be from 0 to n minus 1, that is 10 minus 1, 9. Okay, so if we consider our group, okay, if we consider our group Z12, okay, since our group is Z12, so here the residue set is Z12. Okay, so what is this Z12 will be consisting of elements from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it will be consisting elements up to n minus 1, that is 11. Okay, so this is the residue Z12 that consists of elements from 0 to 11. Okay, so here if you see that, so now we have to check these two. So now we have to consider this Z10 and Z12. Okay, so this Zn is our H. Okay, that is we have to check whether this H is a subgroup, and this Z12 belongs to G. Okay, so first condition we have to check is that if H is a subset of G. Okay, to check that whether H is a subset of G, so since Z10 consists of elements from 0 to 9, and since Z12 also consists of elements from 0 to 9. Okay, so here Z12 also consists of elements from 0 to 9 and Z10 also consists of elements from 0 to 9. That means that Z is a subset of G. Okay, so that means that here H is a subset of G. That means that H is a subset of G. So that means that it is satisfying our first condition. Okay, so since your Z10 consists of elements from 0 to 9 and your Z12 consists of elements from 0 to 11. Okay, so and what is our first condition? Since our first condition is that H is a subset of G. Okay, since the elements of Z10 consist of elements in Z12 also, so we will be saying that Z10 is a subset of Z12. Okay, so that means that our first condition is satisfied. Okay, so what is the second condition? Our second condition is that H is a group. Okay, so the second condition is that H is a group. Okay, so here H should be a group. So that this is our second condition. The second condition says that H should be a group. Okay, so that is our second condition, and we know that already in previous class in groups, okay, where we are defining the group, we have already discussed it there that a set of residue integers with addition operation is a group. Okay, so already we know that the set of integers, okay, already we have said that the set of residue integers, okay, the set of residue integers with addition operation, okay, is a group. Okay, since this is also so since this is also, and since our H, okay, since our H is also a residue set of 10, okay, since our H is also a residue set of 10 with binary operation, so our H will also be a group. Okay, so our H is also a group. Okay, so H is also a group because it is a residue. Okay, since it is also a residue set. Okay, so since it is also a residue set with binary operation addition, so H is also a group. Okay, since we know that set of integers, okay, since we know that set of residue integers with binary operation is a group, so hence, okay, hence H is also a group. Okay, so since in previous class we have already said that set of residue integers with binary operation is a group. Okay, already we have proved that, and already we have discussed in the previous class that the set of residue integers with binary operation is a group. Okay, since set of residue integers is a group, so our H, since our H is also a residue integer. Okay, since our H is also a residue set with operation plus, okay, so our H is also a group. Okay, that means that our second condition has also satisfied. Okay, so next coming to the third condition. So this is our third condition. Okay, so this is our third condition. Okay, so what is the third condition? Says that the third condition says that H and G uses different binary operations. Okay, so here what is the third condition here? What is the third condition? Says that the condition says that H and G uses the same binary operation. Okay, so what is our third condition? So here already first condition, second condition is satisfied. Okay, so already here first condition and second condition is satisfied. So what is our third condition? The third condition is that H and G uses the same binary operation. So but when we consider in our example, okay, but when we consider our example, here the binary operation is mod 10. Okay, when it comes to H, the binary operation, okay, plus, okay, even though it is a plus operation, but here we have to do mod 10. Okay, but here when you consider your group, here the operation is mod 12. Okay, here the operation is mod 12, whereas here in H our operation is mod 10. Okay, which means that the operations are different. Okay, H is using a binary operation with mod 10 and G is doing binary operation with mod 12. Okay, so that means that our third condition is not satisfied. Okay, so here our third condition is Not satisfied. It is not satisfying the third condition because here H and G are using different binary operations. Okay, where here H, okay, when it is coming to H, the H is using the mod 10 operation. Okay, whereas our G, what is the G using? The G is using the mod 12 operation. Okay, since these two are using two different binary operations, okay, so it is not satisfying the third property. Okay, so it is not satisfying the third property, hence the answer is no. Okay, is the group H equal to Z10 plus is a subgroup of G. Okay, is the group H a subgroup of G? The answer is no. Okay, so here the answer is no. Okay, so the answer is no. Okay, so here the H, okay, here the answer is no, since our H, okay, so H with group G is not satisfying the third property since H and G uses the different binary operations. Okay, so here we are using the mod 10 operation. Okay, here in H we are using the mod 10 operation, whereas in G we are using the mod 12 operation. Okay, so here in G we are using the mod 12 operation since our residue set is Z12. Okay, since our residue set is Z12, so it is using mod 12 operation, and when it comes to H, since the residue set is Z10, it is doing the mod 10 operation. Since H and G are using the different operations, so the third property is not satisfied. Hence the answer is no. That is means that H is not forming a subgroup of G. Okay, so that is about the subgroups. Okay, so that is about the subgroups where, okay, where first we have gone through the definition of a subgroup where a H is said to be considered like H. Okay, H is said to be a subgroup of G when it satisfies the three properties. What are those three properties? The first property is that H should be a subset of G. The second property is that H should be a group, and the third property is that H and G uses the same binary operation. Okay, if H satisfies these three properties, then H is said to be a subgroup of G. Okay, so here let's consider an example. So here is the group H equal to Z10 plus. Okay, so here the H equal to Z10 plus is a subgroup of G. Okay, here we have to check whether this Z10, okay, so we have to check whether this Z10 is forming a group with the G. Okay, so here we have to check all the three conditions. The first condition is that H is a subset of G. Okay, so what is the first condition? We have to check whether H is a subset of G. Okay, so here since our H consists of Z10 and since Z10 consists of elements from 0 to 9. Okay, and the next our group, whatever the G, our group consists of Z12. Okay, so Z12 means it consists of elements from 0 to n minus 1, that is from 0 to 11. Okay, so from this and this we can see that H is a subset of Z. Okay, so since H consists of elements from 0 to 9 and G also consists of elements from 0 to 9. Okay, so we can say this H is a subset of G. Okay, so that is first condition is satisfied. So next coming to the second condition. So second condition is that H is a group. Okay, so here H is a group. So our example here H is a group since this residue, already in previous class we have proved that the set of residue integers with the binary operation is a group. Okay, and since our H is also a residue set with 10 with a binary operation, so we can conclude that H is a group. So that means that our second condition is also satisfied. Okay, coming to the third condition. So coming to the third condition, H and G should be using the same binary operation. Okay, so here but here it is not the case. Okay, but in your example, so H is Z10. Z10 in the sense it is performing the mod 10 operation. Okay, so and G is our Z12. Z12 means that it is doing the mod 12 operation. Okay, so since here H and G are using different binary operation. Okay, so here H and G are using the different binary operation, so our third condition has not satisfied. Okay, since our third condition has not satisfied, we will be concluding that H is not a subgroup of G. Okay, that means that the answer is no. That means that H is not a subgroup of G. Okay, so that means that H is not a subgroup of G. So the next topic is cyclic subgroup. So here the definition for the cyclic subgroup is that if a subgroup can be generated using power of an element, okay, the subgroup is called as the cyclic subgroup. Okay, so if the subgroup is generated by using the power of an element, suppose this is our element A, so and we are doing the power of that. Okay, so after doing the power of that, if that belongs to the group, then it is said to be the cyclic subgroup. Okay, so here where this dot represents the binary operation, that is not the multiplication. Okay, so whatever the binary operations that we are having in the group, so that binary operation has to be performed on this n. Okay, so after performing the binary operation on n times, so if that element belongs to the subgroup, then it is said to be the cyclic subgroup. Okay, so this is the example here. 4 cyclic subgroups can be made from the group Z6 comma plus. Okay, so this is our group. So here we have taken an example for this group where the group is Z6 comma with the addition operation. Okay, so here our dot operation, whatever the dot operation is, that is your plus operation, and this is your and this is for the set of residue Z6. Okay, so for this group we can make 6 cyclic subgroups. Okay, for this group G we can form 4 cyclic subgroups. What are those 4 cyclic subgroups? Let's see. So since we have already said this is like Z6. Okay, so here we are taking Z6, and already we know Z6 consists of elements from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so already we have said Zn, when Zn, then the elements will be from 0 to n minus 1. So here since it is Z6, this Z6 consists of elements from 0 to 5. Okay, so now we have to take all these elements and we have to perform that a to the power of n. Okay, so let's consider the first element 0. Okay, so 0, so here I am doing 0 to the power of 0, 0 power 0 mod 6 is 0. Okay, and similarly if I am taking like 0 to the power of 1, okay, so 0 to the power of 1 mod 6 is also 0, 0 to the power of 2 mod 6 is also 0. Since it consists of all zeros, okay, so this is forming one cyclic subgroup. Okay, even if you do 0 to the power of 0 mod 6, it is also 0, 0 to the power of 1 mod 6, it is also 0, 0 to the power of 2 mod 6, it is also 0, 0 to the power of 3 mod 6, it is also 0. Similarly, whatever the operation you do on 0 to the power, since it is 0 only, so this is forming one cyclic subgroup. Okay, so here this one cyclic subgroup is represented by this H1. Okay, so H1 equal to this cyclic subgroup consists of 0 with the operation plus. Okay, so that is one cyclic subgroup that is generated with our 0. Since 0 to the power of whatever the n we are applying, since again we are getting a 0, it is a cyclic subgroup. Okay, so and next element, what is the next element? So next element is 1. So now we have to take 1. So again 1 to the power of 0 mod 6. Okay, so 1 to the power of 0 is 0, 0 mod 6 is again 0. Okay, so 1 to the power of 1 mod 6, 1 to the power of 1 is 1, 1 mod 6 is 1. Okay, similarly 1 square. So here 1 square is not 1 into 1. Okay, already we have said this is the operation. Okay, so since we are performing on plus operation, so here 1 square means that 1 plus 1. Okay, so here also 1 to the power of 1 means 1 only. Okay, so here 1 square means that 1 plus 1, that is 2, 2 mod 6 is again 2. Okay, so similarly 1 cube. 1 cube is, we have to add 1 3 times. 1 plus 1 plus 1. Mod 6 is 3. Okay, similarly 1 to the power of 4. So it is 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So we have to add 1 4 times. So again mod 6, again we will be getting 4. Okay, similarly for 5 also. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 3, 4, 5. 5 times. We have to add 1 5 times. Mod 6 is again 5. Okay, so if we do 1 to the power of 1 mod 6. Okay, 1 to the power of 6 mod 6. Okay, so now we are trying to do 1 to the power of 6 mod 6. So it will be 0. Why? Because we will be adding 1 6 times. 4, 5, 6. Okay, that is 6. 6 mod 6. 6 mod 6 is again 0. Okay, similarly if you do 1 to the power of 7 mod 6. Okay, so 1 to the power of 7 means 7. So 7 mod 6 is again 1. Okay, similarly if you do 1 to the power of 8 mod 6. Okay, 1 to the power of 8 means 8. 8 mod 6 is again 2. Okay, so if you see this, the elements are repeating here. Okay, similarly if you do 1 to the power of 9 mod 6. Okay, if you do 1 to the power of 9 mod 6, you will be getting 3. Okay, so the elements are repeating. So if you do 1 to the power of 10 mod 6, you will be getting 4. 1 to the power of 11 mod 6, you are getting 5. Okay, so in this way the elements are repeating. Okay, after this 1 to the power of 5 mod 6. Okay, after this 1 to the power of 5 mod 6, the elements are repeating. That means that it is forming a cyclic subgroup. Okay, so that is why we will be consider this one as a cyclic subgroup. Okay, so this one will be a cyclic subgroup and it is represented as G. Okay, so this is one cyclic subgroup represented by H4 and it is said to be a G. Why G? Since our group G. Okay, since our group G is also consisting of elements from 0 to 5. Okay, since our G is also consisting of elements from 0 5, so our set H is also, this set what you are having, this is also a cyclic subgroup. Okay, so and it is belonging to G. Okay, so now take the next element, that is our 2. Okay, so that is, this is our 2. Okay, so 2 to the power of 0, so again we will be doing the same thing. 2 to the power of 0 mod 6 is again 0. 2 to the power of 1 mod 6 again 2. 2 square. 2 square means that 2 plus 2. Okay, according to our definition it is 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 mod 6 4. So again we will, if we do 2 to the power of cube mod 6. Okay, so then again you will be 2 plus 2 plus 2. Okay, so it will be 6 mod 6. Okay, so again 6 mod 6, again it is 0. So see that the cycle is repeating again. Okay, if you do 2 to the power of 4 mod 6, so again we will be getting 2. So if you are doing 2 to the power of 5 mod 6, again you will be getting 4. So in that, if you do next operations also, we will be getting the same cyclic subgroup that consists of elements 0 to 4. Okay, so that is why this is forming one subgroup, that is H2. Okay, so this 2 is forming one cyclic subgroup that is represented with H2 and that consists of elements 0 to 4. Okay, and next, so third element, let's consider the third element 3. Okay, so 3 to the power of 0 mod 6 0, 3 to the power of 1 mod 6 is 3. If we similarly do 3 square mod 6, okay, 3 square mod 6, that is 6. Okay, so 3 square means 3 plus 3. 3 plus 3, 6. 6 mod 6 is again 0. Okay, so if you repeat after that, if you do that, so again you will be getting a same cyclic subgroup, that is 0 3 0 3 0 3. Okay, so that is why this 3 is forming a cyclic subgroup, so that is represented by this H3. Okay, so this is forming a H3 cyclic subgroup. This H3 consists of elements of only 0 and 3 with the binary operation plus. Okay, so next, if we consider your H4, okay, so this is our H4. So the next element is our 4th. Okay, so 4, again same operations, 4 to the power of 0 mod 6 0, 4 to the power of 1 mod 6 is 4, 4 square, 4 square in the sense 4 plus 4. Okay, 8 mod 6 is 2. Okay, so if we do the next, 4 to the power of 3, okay, 4 to the power of 3 mod 6, again you will be getting 0. Okay, so in that way, so after doing the 4 to the power of 3, 4 to the power of 4 also, we will be repeating the elements with 0 4 2. Okay, that means that it is also forming a cyclic subgroup. Okay, so since here 4 is also forming a cyclic subgroup that consists of elements 0, 4, 2. Okay, and this cyclic subgroup is similar to your 2 cyclic subgroup. Okay, if you consider this 2 cyclic subgroup also, it also consists of elements 0, 2, 4. Okay, similarly our 4 cyclic subgroup also consists of elements 0, 4, 2. Okay, so those two will be coming under the same cyclic subgroup that is represented with your Z2. This is our Z2 that consists of 0, 2, 4 with addition operation. Okay, so after 4 we are having the last one as 5. So if we consider the 5 also here, so 5 to the power of 0 mod 6, same binary operations. Okay, so if we are doing that operations, so here also we are getting elements. Okay, so we are getting all the elements that are the elements of G also. Okay, our G elements are 0 to 5 and our cyclic subgroup elements are also from 0 to 5. So this also belongs to the H4 subgroup. Okay, so H4 subgroup that is also equal to G. Okay, since our 1 is also having all the elements of the group and our 5 is also having all the elements of the group, so these two are considered to be the same cyclic subgroup, that is H4 equal to G. Okay, so that is the first cyclic subgroup that we have generated, H4 equal to G, and this we have generated from 1 and 5. Okay, and similarly with second cyclic subgroup we have generated is H1. Okay, H1, and this consists of only 0 element that we have generated from this 0. Okay, so and the next cyclic subgroup we have generated is H2 that consists of elements from 0 to 4. Okay, so and this cyclic subgroup is generated from the element 2 and from 4. Okay, so and the third cyclic subgroup that is generated is H3, so that consists of elements 0, 3. Okay, and it is generated from the element 3. So from this element 3 we have generated this third cyclic subgroup. So overall here we have generated 4 cyclic subgroups for the group G. Okay, we have generated 4 cyclic subgroup for the group G equal to Z6 comma addition operation. Okay, so that is about the cyclic subgroups. Thank you. So ring, coming to the ring. A ring is an algebraic structure with 2 operations. Okay, so in ring we will be having 2 operations. One is one operation, this one, and this is your second operation. Okay, so a ring is an algebraic structure with 2 operations. If you take like group, okay, if you take like group, a group is it is an algebraic structure with only one operation. Okay, so if you take a group is an algebraic structure with only one operation. Okay, so a group is an algebraic structure with only one operation, whereas a ring is an algebraic structure with 2 operations. So here these are your 2 operations. Okay, and similar to your group here also. Okay, so here also whatever the set of elements that you are taking, that has to satisfy these properties. Okay, so when it is like first operation, okay, so this is your first operation. Here whatever the first operation that you are taking, that first operation has to satisfy the property of closure, associativity, commutativity, existence of identity and existence of inverse. Okay, so here whatever the first operation, that first operation has to satisfy all these 5 properties, whereas the second operation must satisfy these 3 properties. Okay, so the second operation must satisfy the property of closure, associativity and commutativity. Okay, if it is satisfying the property of commutativity, then it is said to be a commutative. Okay, if it is satisfying the third property of commutativity, then it is said to be a commutative ring. Okay, so that is about the ring, where the ring takes 2 operations. Okay, where the first operation has to satisfy these 5 properties, whereas the second operation has to satisfy the 3 properties. Okay, so that is about the ring. So this is the example of the ring. Okay, the set Z in the sense set of integers. Okay, so Z is nothing but the set of integers. The set Z with two operation addition and multiplication is a commutative ring. Okay, so with two operation plus and multiplication, the set of integers is said to be a commutative ring. Okay, since the second operation multiplication so satisfies the commutative property also, that is why it is said to be a commutative. Okay, so addition satisfy all the 5 properties already we have said. Okay, so here the first operation has to satisfy all the 5 properties. So here we have taken like example Z comma plus comma multiplication. This is said to be a commutative ring. Okay, the set of integer with first operation addition and with second operation multiplication is a commutative ring. Okay, why it is a commutative ring? Because the set of integer with respect to addition satisfy all these 5 properties. Okay, and with respect to multiplication satisfy only 3 properties. Okay, so with respect to multiplication satisfies these 3 properties, hence it is said to be a commutative ring. Okay, so and similarly, okay, and the third one we are having is a field. Okay, so the next one is a field. A field is denoted by F equal to is a commutating ring in which the second operation, it is also said to be a field is a commutative ring. Okay, so in which the second operation satisfy all the 5 properties defined for the first operation, except that the identity of the first operation has no inverse. Okay, so that is a field. Okay, already we have seen a ring. Okay, so where a ring is an algebraic structure with 2 operations, where the first operation has to satisfy the 5 properties, whereas the second operation satisfies the 3 properties. Okay, so that is the case in ring. Whereas in field, what is the case for field? Here in field, okay, the second operation must also satisfy all the 5 properties. Okay, here the first operation satisfy all the 5 properties, and similarly whatever the second operation must also satisfy all the 5 properties except this inverse, where in inverse, okay, so where in inverse the identity element of the first inverse has no inverse. Okay, since the identity element does not have inverse. Okay, so you have to take that identity element as an exception. Okay, so apart from that identity element, all other elements should have the inverses. Okay, for example, I am having the elements like 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, set of integers like that. Okay, so see here 0 is an identity element. Okay, so here when it is like satisfying with the second operation, okay, so this set is said to be a field if here the apart from this 0, okay, apart from this 0, except this 0, if all other elements are having multiplicative inverses, okay, if all other elements are having inverses, okay, if all other elements are having inverses, then it is said to be like okay, so it is said to be like field. Okay, so that is the field, where in the field whatever the first operation, it has to satisfy all the 5 properties. When it comes to the second one, okay, when it comes to the second one also, it has to be satisfying all the 5 properties, where in inverse, okay, since the identity element does not have inverse, you have to exempt that identity element, and for all other elements in the set, for all other elements there should be an existence of inverse. Okay, so except for this identity element, whatever the other elements that you are having, those other elements must have these inverses. Okay, so those other elements must having the inverses. Okay, so that is about the field. Okay, so here finite fields. Coming to the finite fields, so here Galois showed that for a field to be finite, the number of elements should be p to the power of n. Okay, so for a field to be finite, the number of elements should be p to the power of n, where p is a prime number and n is any positive integer. Okay, so here the Galois field p to the power of n is a finite field with p to the power of n elements, where p is a prime number and n is an any positive integer. Okay, so let's see an example of this finite field, where here I have taken gf. Okay, so where I have taken gf 2 to the power of 1. Okay, like n equal to 1. Okay, so we have said like gf p to the power of n. Okay, here n is equal to 1. Okay, for this example. So for my example, I am taking n equal to 1. That is gf 2. Okay, where my prime number is p. Okay, where my prime number is where my prime number is 2. Okay, so my prime number is 2, p is equal to 2 and my n is equal to 1. Okay, so with the set of elements 0, 1. Okay, so this field gf2 consists of two elements 0, 1 and the two operation addition and multiplication. Okay, so here so this is also said to be a field. This is said to be a finite field. Okay, so finite field, already we have given that a finite field. Okay, it should whatever the first operation. Okay, whatever the first operation. Here also we are having two operations: addition operation, multiplication operation. Okay, so where in the field we have said that. Okay, so in the field we have said that first property, whatever the first element that satisfy all the 5 properties, and similarly the second element should also satisfy the all properties, except that the identity element does not have any inverse. Okay, so except that identity element does not have inverse, all other properties has to be satisfied. So let's see that example here. Okay, so here these are the set of elements 0, 1 with the two operations addition and multiplication. Okay, with the two operation addition and multiplication. Okay, so this is with respect to addition. Okay, so already we know that with respect to addition 0, 1 it satisfies all the 5 properties, that is your closure, associativity. Okay, and even it is having the identity element. Okay, so identity element, because when you are adding 0 and 0 you are getting again 0, and when you are doing 0 plus 1 again you are getting 1, 1 plus 0 again you are getting 1, 1 plus 1 again you are getting 0. Okay, 1 plus 1 in the sense 2, 2 mod 2, again it is equal to 0. Okay, Galois field with respect to 2 in the sense mod 2. Okay, so again you are getting a 0. That means that here there exists an identity element. Okay, so these zeros represents that there exists an identity element, and similarly it shows that there exists an inverse also. Okay, so there is an inverse and identity element. So this addition is satisfying all the 5 properties. Okay, and similarly if you take this multiplication. Okay, so if you take this multiplication also, so here also you are having like identity element. Okay, so here also you are having the identity element, and also you are having the inverses also, except for the identity element of this first operation. Okay, so for this addition, what is the identity element? The identity element is 0. Okay, so this 0 is not having multiplicative inverse. Okay, but this 1 is having the multiplicative inverse. Okay, so the 1 is having the multiplicative inverse. Okay, since 1 is having the multiplicative inverse, and this identity element of your first operation. Okay, so the first operation is addition, and the identity element of this first operation is 0. For this 0 you are having no inverse. Okay, so it is having no inverse, it is satisfying. For the other one it is having the inverse. Okay, so that is what we have said in your that is what we have said here. The identity element of first operation has no inverse with respect to the second operation. Okay, so that is here. Okay, so the identity element of 0 is the identity element of first operation. Okay, so it does not have inverse with respect to the multiplication. Okay, so you have to take as exception, and for 1, for all other elements it should have the multiplicative inverse. For 1, this is the multiplicative inverse. Okay, so that is why this is the multiplicative inverse, because 1 into 1 mod 2 is 1. Okay, so when you are getting like 1, that means that both these are multiplicative inverse to each other. Okay, so since it is also satisfying, okay, so since it is also satisfying the like inverses, okay, these are like inverses. Okay, so since it is also satisfying all the 5 properties of the second operation and all the properties of the addition operation, we can say it is a finite field. Okay, so this is the second example over a prime number 5. Okay, where you will be doing like mod 5 operation. Okay, so here also we are having 2 operation plus and multiplication operation, where here also you can see there exists an identity element. Okay, so exists an identity element, and similarly there exists an inverses also. Okay, inverses, that means that it is satisfying all the properties. Okay, all the proper 5 properties with the addition operation, and if you take multiplication also, if you take multiplication except this identity element. Okay, so since in addition the identity element is 0. Okay, since in addition the identity element is 0, except this identity element, all other 1, 2, 3, 4 elements are having the inverses. Inverses like 1, this is 1 for 1, inverse for 2 is 1. Okay, and similarly we are having inverse for 3 also, and similarly we are having inverse for 4 also. Okay, since here in each row we are having 1, in each row we are having 1 means that, so each element is having the multiplicative inverse. Okay, since here all other elements are having multiplicative inverse except the identity element of the first operation, so it is also be said as a finite field. Okay, so that is about the summary of your group, ring and fields, 3 algebraic structures. Okay, so where group, where you can typical operations. Okay, typical operations that are supported by this group are plus, minus, multiplication, division, and supported set of integers are Zn, and some set of residues like that. Okay, and similarly ring operation. Okay, so where a ring it is typically supporting the typically supports the operation like plus, minus, multiplication, and it is supported by a set of integers Z. Okay, where Z is nothing but a set of integers. And when it comes to field also supports all the 4 operations, and it is typically supporting a set of integers over prime number. Okay, set of integers over prime number, and ring supports set of integers, and whereas this whatever the group, it supports like set of residues. Okay, Zn in the sense that set of residue integers, and similarly so a set of inverse residues also. Okay, so that is about the group, ring, field.